is not just a friend, but is someone I've looked up to and have relied on for advice for many years. And I am grateful to have the opportunity today to introduce her to you and welcome her to North Carolina. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of Houston, Texas.
Mark, I was going to say a whole lot of nice things about you, but Houston is the fourth largest city in America. We mayors get very testy about things. It's all about size. I'm glad to be here today. I hope you have been enjoying the conference and that you're brushing up on your skill sets for what should be a really interesting year next year. I know I'm from Texas. We just re-elected the Marlboro Man, governor, longest serving governor in the history of Texas, unfortunately. But I take the long view. This is my 13th year in office in Houston. This is my actually 40th year of being out. So I have been engaged in this effort for a very long time. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on now and to encourage you for some of the things that you're going to have to deal with in the next year. I have had an amazing year in office. I haven't been in office for so long in Houston as a member of council and then as a city controller. I thought I had a fairly high media profile. I had no clue what was going to happen when I became mayor of Houston. Suddenly, I actually made the front page of the Times of India. Something that had never happened to a Houston mayor before. And I was fielding an onslaught of media attention from all over the world, doing radio interviews from Japan and New Zealand and Israel, lots from South America, and trying to take over the reins of what is a very large city with all of the big city issues that needed to be addressed. And then I was named to the Time Magazine Top 100. I am apparently one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Just remember that Lady Gaga is on that list. And Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin are on that list. Yeah. But in order to make that list, all I had to do was get elected mayor. Get elected mayor of my hometown, get elected mayor of a city that I absolutely love. And they don't even know whether I'm going to do a good job or not. It was getting over the hurdle of being elected mayor. And I saw some of that in the media attention I got over the first few months after I was elected. It fell into two categories. It was a lesbian. A lesbian was elected mayor of Houston. And then they would spend some time, but Houston, isn't that city in Texas that with all the oil companies and very conservative and et cetera, et cetera. And it's given me an opportunity to talk about two things. It's given me an opportunity to talk about my city, which is not the city that most of America thinks it is. Houston has always been a place that cared more about what you can do than who you are. It's also given me a chance to talk about Texas. And I would remind people that Texas has a history of electing strong lesbians to office. In fact, we like women with guns. We have elected 2 lesbian sheriffs in Texas, Margot Frazier in Travis County and currently serving Lupe Valdez in Dallas County right now. So women with guns, don't mess with us. but it's also giving me an opportunity to put another face on the GLBT community. I had an interesting experience earlier this year. I took a trade mission from the city of Houston to China. It was a real pleasure trip. We went to 3 cities in China in 6 days. 3 cities in 6 days with a 14-hour plane flight on either end. In the dead of summer, and it was just as hot in Chongqing as it was in Houston. It was about 98 degrees when we were there, 98% humidity, very much like Houston. And Chongqing is a city of 32 million people. And everywhere we went, I was the head of the delegation. We met with local officials. In Chongqing, we actually met with the party secretary. And if you're familiar with the Chinese system, Chongqing is a city it's under central control, and the party secretary trumps the mayor. And for some reason, the party secretary wanted to meet with me and with our trade delegation. We had a lovely evening together. Turns out that he too is on the Time Magazine Top 100 list, and he was curious. Whatever works. It gave me an opportunity, because he was curious, because he wanted to know what I was about, to come in and talk about my city, but also to represent our community to a different culture in a different way. And in a time when, unfortunately, too many young gay men, primarily gay men, seem once again to believe that the choices that face them are so awful that the only viable choice they have is to kill themselves. Whatever works, whatever we have to do to change the hearts and minds of the world and how we are viewed as a GLBT community. I have a quote that has been stuck on my computer monitor for all of my years in office. And it's a quote from André Gide, and it is better to be hated for what one is than loved for what one is not. And that's a pretty tough quote. And I have decided, as I've thought over particularly the month of September, where we had an onslaught of suicides, an epidemic of suicides, that I need to take that quote and change it, and we need to live it and believe it. And that is, it is better to be hated for what one is than loved for what one is not. And add a coda: we must learn to love who we are. Now, the most important thing that I'm going to say to you today, I think, is thank you for being here. And thank you for being part of this process. Because in order for us all to learn to love who we are, we need the help of our community. We need to know there's a community. We need to build a community. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for being engaged and energized and involved day after day. And thank you for being committed to the GLBT movement for the long haul. Because we can hit a milestone, like having someone elected to the 4th largest city in America to be mayor, and then we can turn around and 9 months later find that our young people are killing themselves at a rate that would not have been a surprise in the 60s